Okay, I'm thinking of mainly right now the belief that women are definitely trained differently in this society to have a completely different path. Like, for instance, even the way the patriarchy is changed, patriarchal society has been around for so long that even goddesses were changed to only be fertility goddesses and such things when there used to be such a spectrum to gender in general.
Okay. I don't understand your belief yet, but I
Okay,
plan to.
that gender is more binary than what the patriarchy has created. Let's say that.
That gender is less binary.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm like, we're using words.
Okay. That gender is less binary than what the patriarchy has intended.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And that's the big, I guess, best word I can find for that, patriarchy.
We need to define some things.
Okay.
What do we mean by gender?
Exactly, right? What we define as gender is male or female. But realistically, that's a body assignment, but that's also a spectrum because you develop in different ways. There's like a way you start off in, I think, as a baby, right? Usually female, and then you grow. But does physicality really define who you are? Because we all like have similarities physically, but that doesn't make us all the same.
Are we saying that gender is not sex? Is that what we're saying?
Are we saying that is? I wonder.
Well, I'm asking your belief.
I don't think it is. I think gender is something that we have to choose now because it's become such an important thing in our documents and things, and I don't think it used to matter at all.
Is gender a perception of something that's real, or is it something that's real?
I think it's something that we need to label because we need to categorize. So I think it's been made to seem real because it's been made to seem like these two categories that aren't clean cut.
And I'm just really trying to understand your belief here, truly. So if we're saying that gender, I think, is on a continuum and it's not an either or thing, it's not
Right.
binary. So I guess we're saying there's really no male or female. It can be anything.
Right. And as a scientist, I want to know where it comes from, like where that definition comes from technically, because I know there's parts, obviously, that we have and don't have. But really, I don't know if my parts are exactly the same as that woman over there.
Yeah.
There might be micro differences in literally all of our body parts.
Let me ask you this then. And I know we're stuck on definitions, but I'm really trying to understand what you're talking about.
Okay.
What is the difference between gender and gender identity?
I think gender is what we have to comply with to the government, right? The system, what our check mark is for that. And I think gender identity is now what people are learning. They have the choice to also be something else or be that, right? Like I am on documents a woman and I do identify as a woman because I feel like I have more of my like divine feminine energy within me to kind of feel like I'm in a womanly body at this point in my karmic cycle.
So we're saying that gender is just a check mark that we have to assign to ourselves,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
even though it's on a continuum.
Mm-hmm.
And gender identity is more of a perception of how we see ourselves.
How we feel. Because, for instance, I was always a tomboy, so I actually was very curious, was I a girl or not? How did I feel into it? And that was some like internalized misogyny. So we don't even know where some of our gender identity choices come from because we have been so much like trained into this system.
Help me with this. I know that we're talking about a lot of perceptions of how we see ourselves and how others see ourselves. Where is there objectivity here? Where is there an objective truth here about what is true and real about gender or sex or gender identity? Is it all perception, or is there something that we can hang our hat on that we can discuss
Something
together?
Concrete is that we're in a human body.
We're in a human body.
Yeah.
So even to say that that there are different sexes, that wouldn't be an objective truth. That'd be an opinion or a perception.
I would go as far as to say that, maybe. Sure.
On a scale from 1 to 7, how confident are you that your belief is true?
I'm at a solid 6 right now. I don't know. I feel good about this.
And on a scale from 1 to 7, how important is it for you to believe in true things? Things that are true and real.
Defining what truth is very important to me because I used to think that whatever was set up was like following the rules, that was the truth. But now I'm learning that my truth might be different from other people's, but that doesn't make theirs any different or less or worse. Their whole life is different.
Oh, Well, this helps me.
Uh-huh.
So you're thinking the way you see the world is that you have your truth, your personal truth, and someone else might have their own personal truth.
Yeah.
And after this, you can keep this box if you want. These are sour cream and onion crickets.
Oh no.
If you want, they're pretty good, actually.
I'm vegan.
Sorry. Let's suppose that there is either an even or odd number of crickets in this box.
Yes.
I don't know what the truth is. I presume you don't know what the truth is. But
Yeah.
could it be said that there's an objective truth there, and that truth doesn't require what we believe about it? It's just true?
That's if you believe that we're constantly in the same dimension of things.
So I could believe that there's an even number of crickets,
Yeah.
and you could believe that there's an odd number of crickets,
Yeah.
and both would
Whoever
be true.
believes in themselves more.
So whoever believes it harder is true? Is that,
Maybe.
Is that what you're saying?
Maybe. Who believes they're going to be right?
It seems like if I believe that there's an even number of crickets, and you believe that there's an odd number of crickets, that they're both true?
They could be both true, right?
How is that?
There's a possibility of either truth being there.
How would we find that truth?
Well, we would have to look.
So there's a test, and we can count them.
We can count those.
So then, after we count them, it sounds like what you're saying, then there's actually an objective truth.
Mm-hmm.
There's either an even or odd number of crickets.
We'll have an answer, yeah.
We'll have an answer. How can we have personal truths then?
Because even and odd is still something people made up.
Go on.
I don't know. Even the terminology, even and odd. Maybe I call even something different in some other world.
So I think what you're telling me then is that regardless of a test, I could believe there's an even number of crickets, you could believe there's an odd number of crickets, and both would be true.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't actually believe that. Arguments like that frustrate me, but I still am trying to find a way to where that could be, because I think there's possibility for that, because there's just a deeper level of us even knowing numbers. Because our perception, we also see things, right? I don't know.
The way we perceive these crickets, do you think
Yeah.
it'll change the number in the box?
Could.
How?
Quantum shifts.
What's that?
Quantum shifts.
Quantum shifts?
Yeah.
So, in the world of quantum mechanics, there can be both an even and odd number of crickets in this
Exactly.
box. I'm wondering, and tell me what you think, that if there can be an even or odd number of crickets in this box, it sounds like then your belief can be both true and not true at the same time.
Yes. Because, for instance, I have believed things in the past that I now no longer believe, right? So I have both thought that was truth, but not have also thought that is not truth. And who says time? Timeline to us is real, but that is not the past, maybe.
At the very beginning of the conversation, I asked you, how confident are you in the belief? And you said a 6 out of 7.
Yeah.
Are you still a 6 out of 7? What will make you more confident in your belief? How can we get you to a 7 out of 7?
I'm always going to ponder other sides because that's just who I am. So I'm never going to be 100% about anything, I think.
Is there any way we can get you to a 6.1?
Sure.
What kind of information would help you get there, do you think?
I think if I were more confident in any of the science of it, like human development and such.
With the science?
Yeah, like the actual physical vessel, the body.
Yeah. Would the science matter if we all believe what is true is true?
Not necessarily, because even scientists are just out there testing each other's theories. It's not truth either until it's, proven right or wrong, and then it's proven wrong again, then right again.
Can you prove things that are right or wrong in a world that has either simultaneously an even and odd number of crickets?
I don't think so. That's why I don't think we need to be worried about each other that much. We're all just trying.
What would reduce your confidence in your belief from a 6 to, say, a 5.9?
I also don't think it could be reduced. I don't know.
Let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's useful, generally speaking, to have a belief, any belief at all,
Yes.
that can't be shown to be incorrect, if it's incorrect. I'm not saying your belief is incorrect, but do you think it's useful to have a belief that can't be shown to be incorrect? Because if a belief can't be shown to be incorrect, then how do we really know that it's true?
Well, you can ask it a different way too. If we know something is true, how do we know it's wrong? You know, like it false. I don't know. I feel like say that again because it
I'll say it
sounded.
again.
Yeah.
If we have a belief,
Yeah.
and there's no way that Timmy's sitting next to if I have this belief and Timmy couldn't show me that it's wrong if it's
Right.
wrong, and I couldn't even show myself it's wrong if it's wrong,
Yeah.
it seems like I'm stuck with the belief because there's
Right.
no way I could ever believe otherwise.
Might as well believe it's true.
Why?
Well, I think that I've been taught to kind of follow my gut. So if it sparks joy, right? Not
If
to
it's
use
what?
that phrase, but I've been taught, for instance, by my father because he believes in a lot of esoteric things, aliens, everything. And he's like, I read things and I will follow what I feel in my body feels true.
Is what I believe, feel, and what I feel in my body in this
Yes.
case, and in your belief that we discussed at the beginning, is that a reliable way, do you think, to know what is true?
Well, it's definitely not reliable right now because we don't know how to use our energy the way we should. Like, we don't have our focus. Like, if I changed my focus to a lot of negative things, to a lot of positive things, and my world has changed completely. So we do create our world by these outlooks and those beliefs, because if we believe, like, if I only follow things that make me happy or other people happy, with, of course, being healthy with that, I am no longer inviting in those lower vibrations where I was at, where I was not creating joy.
And if there's an odd number of crickets in this box, and I believe that there's an even number of crickets in that box, can I make that happen?
You can.
How do you feel like this talk went?
I actually liked it.
Thank you. Me
Thank
too.
you.
I love having these talks.
Thank you for asking questions.
Yeah,
That's
these
cool.
are really difficult conversations. And I appreciate you hanging in there with me.
I know.
And
Like, I
they're
don't
not,
know.
These are, and any fool can ask a question, and I don't pretend I have answers to all these questions, but I'd love to hear what people think about them.
Yeah.
So,
And I actually am, I don't ask questions a lot. I like to hear information though,
Yeah.
so I appreciate people who can ask questions.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. That's very sweet of you to say. Gosh.